but
definitely you're an expert.
Thank you. I just have to say that, I mean, and I've told you this before, and maybe we've had many drinks when I've told you this, but every time I see you out, it's like you are the good vibes girl. It doesn't matter if we're like sardines in a club or like bored at a party or we're on a red carpet. You're always the same person. You're always like down to just have a real conversation. You're super normal. You've never made me feel like, oh, I'm going to hang out with them and not you.
Yeah.
You're just like a normal chick.
I know. I wish I was like better at that bullshit. I'm just not. So I've accepted that. It's really nice because I do feel like with you, I have like such a genuine connection, and with other people in the industry, like I don't have too many of those surface level, like, oh, we're best friends kind of thing, which like maybe is a bad thing for my career, but like ultimately better for my soul.
I think soul is like the first thing that we have to take care of. And then there are so many games that we have to play.
Yes,
and
correct.
I think that playing the games gets to be like so obnoxious, and that's what gives us the anxiety and the pressure and this.
Yeah, that's why you freak out on a Monday morning and are like, I'm not coming to work. I can't handle it.
Just did it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's good though. I mean, it's really important to also give yourself breaks.
I was just telling Emily about how I had to actually take a break, and I actually told this whole crew right behind you guys that I just couldn't make it in. So it's important. Do you ever have to do things like
self-care, man? Totally. I'm trying to get better at like being more consistent with the self-care so I don't have days where I have meltdowns. You know, I think our job is really hard, and you've done such a good job, and it really inspires me of like not just being a mannequin, right? Like you're not just a model who just represents like her body and who she is. You stand for so much more, and that's also like really good for your soul.
It is.
Still, that doesn't mean that we don't have moments where we're just being a mannequin, right? So like,
well, we have to pay the bills.
Yeah, that's the truth. So I try to find that balance of like, you know, having good conversations with people, working on my stuff that's really fulfilling, and then like making money.
Yeah, I know that there's a statistic. It's like 40 to 60% of Americans now go to the doctor's office because of stress-related issues. And just,
I can't imagine how many women that is. Like, I mean,
hearing that statistic just kind of blew me away, because if I don't have that morning routine of like wake up, prayer, meditation, set my intention, I'm not going to go into the day and have a good one. 100%. Do you have like a daily thing that you do?
I write, which is really good. Sometimes I wake up and like if my husband's still asleep, I'll literally just open notes on my phone and like go off. Other times it'll be like in the afternoon if I have a break. It really just depends. Obviously our schedule is constantly changing, but you know, I'm 28. I've been working in this industry. I signed with Ford when I was 14. So like it's a long journey. And people always used to say to me about being a model, like, oh, well, there's a age limit, like there's a time limit, like it's like athletes, da-da-da. And I was always like, that's so fucked up. Like that's some sexist ageist bullshit. Like that makes me mad. And then now that I'm 28, I'm like, oh no, like human beings actually can't physically survive being just seen for their appearance for this amount of time. And like, that's why by the time you hit 30, you're like, I gotta find something else, you know? So I've been really mindful of that and like trying to, you know, as all women have to sort of do, be more than just our image, our body, like be conscious of that struggle.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm so glad. I mean, just to share the fact that you're writing, that's cool.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, even if it is just for me, like it's
but that's all it needs to be.
therapeutic.
It doesn't need to be for anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think the first time you and I met was actually at a Sports Illustrated party.
Is that right?
Were you in SI one time?
Yes.
Or two? Okay.
Two times. Yeah.
And it was so funny because I wasn't actually in SI officially.
Yes.
It was just I was in an ad.
I'm like really remembering. I came up to you.
Yes, at the party.
Yeah.
And I was like,
this girl.
And you were so nice to me.
Oh.
And you were like, I just wanted to congratulate you.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks, girl. Like I was so shy because I felt
I didn't
like
think you were shy.
Oh, well, thanks.
You were super like you.
But it was just really, you have just been the same. And I'm just going to keep going always back to that. You've
really
always
nice.
just been the same. And anybody who's listening and watching, like Emily Ratajkowski, Imrata, is a real down chick.
Thanks.
But, you know, a lot of us know you from the music video.
Yeah.
I want to know what happened before. Where did you start? You said you were at Ford at 14.
Yeah.
I signed at Ford at 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And where were you?
New York.
Okay.
I mean, I was living in Nebraska.
Right. Okay. So I'm an only child. My parents like made me do I had soccer, ballet, like piano, theater, painting class. Like, I was really lucky. They really wanted me to try everything. And the thing that I really fell in love with was theater. So I was doing that. I was like a total theater nerd from like the age of 9 to like 13. Not musical theater, like theater.
Theater darling.
Theater darling. And I had an acting coach who was like, oh, I think she should really consider getting an agent in LA. And, you know, at that point I was getting to that age where it was like my parents were like, you need to start like making your own money and like having, you know, extra money for lunch. Like I'd ask my dad for $200 to go shopping. It's like, you can't do that when you're 14. You got to start learning responsibilities. So we went up to LA and I signed with an acting agent, and like kind of unprompted, she just called Ford because I was living in San Diego, so I was close to LA. And she was like, you got to meet this girl. So my mom was kind of like, okay, I guess we'll go over there. And they signed me on the spot, which was cool. And it paid for a year of college. It set up my whole life. I mean, my parents were school teachers, so it was a pretty sick job. Like I went to public high school, but I was able to not work at a cafe, right?
Right.
I'd take some time off school, go up to LA, like work for a catalog, do that whole thing. And then I went to UCLA for art, actually. But that was 2009. That was when the economy just completely imploded. And so all my friends were like really smart, who I had respected, who were older than me, were like moving back to my hometown and moving into their parents' basement. And I was
back to San Diego.
Yeah, and getting jobs in cafes, even though they had like college degrees and were like mad smart. And I realized like, oh shit, I better like capitalize on this opportunity I have. And that's when I left UCLA and I started modeling full time.
Wow, so you only went to 1 year of college.
I only went to 1 year, college dropout.
And if it weren't for 2009, the original plan would have been?
Yeah, I think I would have stayed. I was also really afraid of student loan debt. I was like, what? And also I was 18 and like being flown all over the world to like meet new people. And so it was a much better, more appealing option for me at that point.
Have you always, I mean, I know that you have always been known as a sexy girl.
Yeah.
But have you used it as a superpower, or have you felt like it's kind of hurt you in some ways?
Both. I think that I have a really complicated relationship to being sexy. I think that I have definitely found incredible power in it just for myself, like being empowered for myself. I'm not talking about power in like how much money I made or my career. I mean like in feeling good and powerful in my body. I've definitely been able to do that. I also think there's another side of me that's like every woman, where it's like I'm so much more than just that. So it's both. That's the answer.
I feel it because, you know, I think that something else we have in common is that we've both always been put in this box of you're the sexy girl, regardless of size, regardless of age or whatever it is. Like when you're put in a box in fashion, you stay in that box, and it's hard to put us in an editorial light or in a business light.
100%.
And I know Katie Grand has been obsessed with you.
Oh yeah, no, I owe her so much for like making that jump to fashion for me. It was really her.
She's incredible.
Yeah, it was her, and honestly, Kareen gave me the cover of CR. So it was both of them. They just kind of like said like, no, we see this girl as more than that, which was really cool. But yeah, it's an uphill battle. You know that. Even fashion models, because they're not necessarily as womanly, are allowed to be in more spaces than really like outwardly sexy, very womanly models are.
I feel like people think of us as like too outspoken sometimes too.
Oh yeah.
Because we come in like with our sexy look and our big tits
and our style, like our personal
we show it off.
Yeah.
Which by the way, which we're going to get into, we're both wearing an Emirata.
Yes, you look so fly. I'm dead. I've actually never seen this combo of this like little shirt with the dress. I'm
really?
Dead. You're
what do people
adorable.
usually wear with it?
They'll just do it with jeans and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
You look so good.
Thank you. Well, maybe I'll wear it with my pregnant belly out. And
oh
like,
my God, I would be dead.
Like a pant that goes under. I got to find pants that go under.
Yeah.
Because maternity jeans suck.
I'm so curious. Like, how is that journey?
You're gonna be fine because you're so little that like
also
you'll just
scares me though.
But like you'll just like have this little baby bump that pops out and
not. Or I'll be like
I don't know. Maybe Sebastian will be like into it. He'll be like, yeah, my thick chick, baby.
I'm not mad about it. I'm just more like it's probably pretty crazy to have like a little baby inside you growing.
No,
right?
trust me, when you feel the baby kick for the first time, then you're like, oh, it's real.
Right.
Like that for me, that's when it clicked.